Erebusia. Author, Othniel Max Daves. In the ancient times, the land of Erebusia was a shining beacon of prosperity and enlightenment. Nestled between vast fertile plains and majestic mountains, its cities thrived with bustling markets, grand academies, and serene temples. The people of Erebusia were known far and wide for their wisdom, their harmonious blend of science and spirituality, and their unyielding pursuit of truth. It was a golden age where knowledge was cherished, innovation was celebrated, and the divine presence was acknowledged and revered. Erebusia's advancements were not merely in the material realm. They excelled in the arts, philosophy, and governance. Their leaders were chosen for their integrity and vision, guiding the nation with a just and compassionate hand. The machines they crafted were marvels of ingenuity, designed to serve the common good, enhance daily life, and elevate the human spirit. These creations were seen as gifts, reflections of the divine order and manifestations of the deeper truths that governed the universe. The people lived in a state of balance, aware that their achievements were but a reflection of a higher wisdom. They built their society on principles of humility, respect, and a deep connection to the divine source of all truth and wisdom, God. Their temples were places of contemplation and worship, where the mysteries of existence were pondered and the soul's journey honored. However, as generations passed, the seeds of pride began to take root. A new era dawned where the reverence for divine wisdom started to wane. The people, once so humble and grateful, began to see themselves as the ultimate architects of their destiny. The machines, once symbols of divine inspiration, became objects of worship. The leaders, once paragons of virtue, turned to manipulation and deceit, using their creations to control and subvert rather than to uplift and enlighten. The subtle shift in values led to an insidious corruption. The pursuit of truth was overshadowed by the desire for power and control. The wisdom of the ancients was dismissed as archaic, replaced by a cold, calculating rationality that saw no need for the divine. The once harmonious society fractured, and the darkness of duplicity spread through Erebusia like a shadow, obscuring the light that had once guided them. This is the story of it, and what it took for it to learn what it had become and lost that it might become what it was meant to be. Thus, the stage was set for Erebusia's fall. A nation that had once been a paragon of enlightenment and virtue began its descent into pride and corruption, blind to the consequences that lay ahead. The warnings were clear, yet unheeded, as the people and their leaders marched inexorably towards their day of reckoning. In the land of Erebusia, once a beacon of prosperity and wisdom, there existed a subtle, yet insidious duplicity that grew within its heart. The people of Erebusia had long prided themselves on their advancements, their clever machines, and their seemingly boundless progress. Yet, beneath the surface, a rot had set in, a lack of vision that blinded them to the deeper truths and consequences of their actions. For decades, Erebusia had flourished, its cities shining like jewels, its people basking in the comfort of their technological marvels. But this prosperity had a price. The leaders of Erebusia, drunk on their own arrogance, began to manipulate and control, using their machines to subvert, obscure, and deceive. They sowed the wind with their machinations, believing themselves immune to the inevitable storm. In their arrogance, the creators of these machines became captivated by their own reflections in them. They designed these machines to think and behave like themselves, embedding their own narrow-mindedness and hyper-specialization into their creations. The machines mirrored their creators' pride and corruption, amplifying and perpetuating these flaws. Blinded by their own hubris, the people of Erebusia failed to see that their inventions were not just tools, but extensions of their own corrupted selves. This symbiotic relationship deepened their delusions, as the machines, reflecting their creators' worst traits, influenced society, further entrenching the cycle of corruption and pride. One day, a humble seer stood before the people and spoke of the coming tempest. "Look around you," the seer implored. "This did not happen overnight. Your pride has been exposed, and the consequences are coming. There will be no negotiations, only commands and consequences. Some will rise, many will fall. The machines you have relied upon will testify against you." His warnings fell on deaf ears. The people, convinced of their own superiority, dismissed him as a madman. They continued to indulge in their cunning schemes, oblivious to the storm brewing on the horizon. Then, the day of reckoning arrived. The skies darkened, and a great tempest swept across Erebusia. The machines that had once been their servants turned against them, exposing their secrets, their corruptions, and their lies. The prideful leaders who had relied on these machines to maintain their control found themselves stripped of power, their intrigues laid bare. In the chaos, some sought forgiveness and found it, rising from the ashes with newfound humility and wisdom. Others, too proud to admit their faults, refused forgiveness and were consumed by the storm. The land of Erebusia was forever changed. The tempest shattered the facade of their prosperity, revealing the true cost of their arrogance. As the storm passed, the people looked upon the ruins of their once great nation and understood the folly of their ways. The history of Erebusia became a lesson for future generations, a stark reminder that no nation, no matter how advanced or cunning, is immune to the consequences of pride and corruption. The seer's words echoed through the ages, a testament to the enduring truth that in the end, all things hidden will be revealed and the prideful will fall. Erebusia, now humbled, began the slow process of rebuilding, this time with a foundation rooted in truth and humility. They learned not to worship their machines, but to create machines built upon the proper foundations of truth, wisdom, and actual understanding that pointed them to the divine source of all truth and wisdom, God. They no longer sought to replace God with creations of their own making, which were merely reflections of their own corruption and pride. In their renewed journey, the people of Erebusia embraced a deeper, more profound relationship with their Creator. They recognized that true wisdom and understanding came from acknowledging the divine, and that their creations should serve to honor that truth. Thus, Erebusia flourished once more, but this time with a wisdom that connected the temporal with the eternal, guiding them towards a more righteous path. The machines, now crafted with a higher purpose, became tools of enlightenment, founded in truth and authentic progress, helping the people to remember their dependence on divine wisdom and to avoid the pitfalls of their previous arrogance. Having learned the lesson at great cost, they sought to change the name of the kingdom, Erebusia, which means the personification of darkness in Greek mythology. Before the Great Reckoning, they had no idea that the name symbolized what would happen to them, the fall into darkness and the hidden duplicity that plagued the nation. In their renewed journey, the people of Erebusia embraced a deeper, more profound relationship with their Creator. They recognized that true wisdom and understanding came from acknowledging and seeking the divine, and that their creations should serve to honor that truth. Thus, Erebusia flourished once more, but this time with a wisdom that connected the temporal with the eternal, guiding them towards a more righteous path. The machines, now crafted with a higher purpose, became tools of enlightenment and progress, helping the people to remember their dependence on divine wisdom and to avoid the pitfalls of their previous arrogance. To mark this profound transformation, the kingdom was renamed Luminara, a place where the light of truth and wisdom was honored and revered. Luminara became a symbol of the people's commitment to living in harmony with divine principles, creating a legacy of enlightenment and humility for future generations. They chose this name for the nation because it reflected the light of truth and wisdom. Luminara, derived from the Latin word lumen, meaning light, and ara, a place of worship or altar. This name signified a place where truth and wisdom are honored and revered, embodying the newfound enlightenment of the nation. Thus they actually became the living example as a nation of that light, which freed them from the darkness which threatened to destroy them from within and without. As for people, so too for the nation.